Welcome back, Dolphins fans, to another episode of On the Fin Side. Tonight, we are sitting down with the player that had arguably the greatest season at offensive guard for the Miami Dolphins, the big man himself, paving the way for Ricky Williams, Mr. Jamie+Nails. Jamie, how are you doing tonight, man? Catch everybody up. What have you been up to?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm not doing too much. A little refereeing a little recreation football right now. Just getting started. So
Ooh,
that's about it. Yeah.
it's fun down there, man. I actually coach a couple of rec teams, so it's a whole other game down in that level. It's
Yes, it is. I hope you're not like those coaches that some of those coaches I have to deal with, man. They
No,
they swear.
I
Yeah, they
usually get
swear on
along pretty
TV.
well with the refs. I did get one call from them, but it was
Yeah.
I tend to laugh at the coaches that are the ones you're talking about most of the time.
Yeah, I tell them, man, this is about the kids, man. I don't have a sword in the fight. So, I mean, I'm calling it like I see it. And with kids, you can literally call a foul on every play. But
Oh yeah,
yeah. So a lot of the coaches, oh man, you didn't see this, and I'm like, man, listen, if it's not affecting the play, I let it go on.
yeah. No, and that's the way you got to call it. I mean, it's other than the egregious stuff, you got to let it go. So, Jamie, I know we're going to talk about your career. We're going to talk a little bit about the Dolphins now. Let's get some of your thoughts. I actually wanted to read something, and I know it's something I sent to you, but I know we've talked about you a lot on our show, and to have the single greatest season by a 66 in Dolphins history is pretty impressive, given the fact that Larry Little is a Hall of Famer for this franchise, and the fact that you threw down such a great season at guard uh, was amazing. And I don't want folks to just take our word for it when we say that. This is something that Ricky Williams said in regards to a tweet that I put out there, and I want to hear what it means to you. When I put out there that you put together the single best season, Ricky came back with, I agree. If he would have stayed healthy, I might have run for 2K in '02, and I definitely would have had a better year in '03. He was the heart and soul of everything we did in our run game. Now, what does it mean to you to hear that from a guy like Ricky?
Ah, man, I mean it really it means the world to me. It speaks volumes for me. I mean, because he was such a great player, and for him to say that and to feel that way, like I said, it's an honor. I mean, I just approached every day, having set out a year. I approached every day like it was my last, and I enjoyed the guys. I enjoyed the team, and blocking for him, man, was one of the greatest highlights of my career. I, I've never seen anybody run that big that could accelerate so fast and run so hard. I mean, he was smart, man. I mean, and like I said, when we first started, and I think our first practice, I saw him take a play and run to the end zone. And he came back and they gave him another ball and he ran to the end zone again. And I just saw how hard he worked. So that just kind of motivated me. If he's putting out and he's one of the top echelon players, then I got to go do the same thing. So like I said, it's a great honor. I appreciate it, and I'm glad he feels that way.
Now, I do have to correct one quick thing on that because you said he was the biggest man you saw run that fast. I seem to recall, and I know it wasn't every play. I'm not going to give you that much kudos, but I seem to recall a few plays where it looked damn well like Ricky was running full speed, and there was a big 360-pound lineman running out in front of him,
Hey,
hitting
no,
people
no.
along the way. And one particular play I come back to is against Detroit, and I think you know the play I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That
We
sweep to the left, you killed.
yeah.
I don't know how many people did you kill on that play. Like not even run over. You just blew them up.
Well, we kept running it in training camp, and every time I would pull out, I run out there and I see one of the DBs and I laugh or run up to him and bump him. So I never actually thought we were running in the game, especially not the first game of the season. So that particular game, we had a good lead, and he called the play. And the only thing I was thinking was like, okay, when I come around, I know that the DB's probably going to try to cut me. So I was preparing to, just kind of fall on him. But when I got around, he stood up, and I kind of just grabbed him with one hand and pushed him into the other guy. And I could hear the crowd, cheering. So I knew he was behind me. So I just started running down the field. Anybody in my way, I was just trying to knock him down. I think I actually ended up running over Chris Chambers, the guy he was blocking. I was just hitting anything.
Yeah, I'm
It,
glad you said that because that answers my next question. Because I've been trying like hell from the footage to figure out who the Dolphin was, but you hit him so hard and so fast, and you're a little bit bigger than Chris,
yeah,
so it's I couldn't see a number. I just saw the jersey go flying. Like it's that was one of the most. I mean, short of the movie The Water Boy, that was probably the most impressive lead block I've ever seen. So
well, that was probably my one highlight of my career. One of
that
the
wasn't
great
the only
highlights of
one.
my
There's
career.
there's
Yeah,
there's a lot of Ricky runs if you watch them where you see a big 66 leading the way. So I won't let you say that was the only highlight of your career, but it
but
was a good one.
yeah, that was one. I mean, the my other lineman. I remember as soon as I got up off the ground, Mark Dixon chest bumped me, and all the other Todd Perry and Ruddy and Ty Wade, all those guys were so excited, man, and happy for me that that's a lineman's dream to be able to block some guys down the field. So they were all hyped up too. So it was a good play.
Well, I'll tell you, I since we already talked a little bit about the rec league, and I don't want to dive into it. Our listeners aren't huge on the rec league thing, but I will say I have shown that footage to players that I've got, showing them how to keep going once they make that first hit and get to the next guy if you blow them up. So, and usually about the third or fourth guy you blow up on that run, they're just shaking their head with their eyes wide. So, you know.
But I hope they get something from it. I hope they get something from it.
Oh. So 97, fourth round, you're drafted by the Buffalo Bills. I remember watching you up there play a little bit, and the two thoughts that came to mind, because we didn't have the footage available then that we do these days. You can see footage of everybody doing anything. But the two thoughts I had came to mind were, damn, that man is big, and damn, that man is good. Where the hell did he come out of? And you played with them through, what was it, 2001 before joining the
Yes.
Dolphins. Walk us through what it was like for you and what brought you to the decision to come to Miami.
Well, I actually came down. I left Buffalo. I was unrestricted free agent. I came down to Miami kind of late in training camp that 2000 season. So I played a few games, a few preseason games, and they released me. So the Texans were it was the new startup team,
Yep.
and I was actually trying to get on with them because I was sitting out. I was sitting out that year, and I went back to the Dolphins and asked them. They wanted to know the last team that I was with. So I went back to them and asked if they make a call for me. And when I got back, Rick Spielman told me, he didn't want to call them. He wanted to bring me in and give me a full chance to go through the whole offseason program and see what I could do. Having been there the entire offseason. So that's kind of how I got hooked up with it. He didn't make the call. He wanted to sign me himself. So, and I was good with staying in South Florida.
I don't blame you a bit. Trust me.
Yeah.
It's now. I know. I remember we were all excited when we saw you sign. Those of us that are old enough to remember. But I don't think anybody expected what we saw from you. What do you credit most for your development once you got down to South Florida?
I think John Gamble, the strength and conditioning coach, he played him and B Roll. They played a big part in it. Man, they got me in some great shape. We were doing some things that I've never done before, as far as training and conditioning and stuff like that. And then being back down in Florida in the sun helped me drop some weight, so that helped a lot with my speed and everything. But I think just that and really, like I said, the off season, getting a good chance to go through the program and be there every day, lifting weights and working out. I think that helped a lot. And then the coaches, Coach Wise and those guys, Coach Turner, they helped me out a lot as well. With the way they use me, they help use me in a manner in which I could show off my skill set the best.
Now, a couple more questions about your career, and then I'm going to get to the current Dolphins and your thoughts on some of those guys, because I know you and I have interacted a little bit about them. Favorite player to play with throughout your career?
My favorite player. Oh, that's tough. I got a few. I know I enjoy it.
I'll take
I'm
more than
saying,
one.
Okay, in Buffalo, I enjoyed playing with Ted Washington and Thurman Thomas, those Antoine Smith, those guys. But in Miami, I think probably I would say I enjoy playing with Ricky. I really enjoy playing with Ricky and him and Tim Ruddy, because
Okay.
Ruddy's one of the smartest guys I've ever met. And I mean, he you know when he made a call, all I had to do was just listen to Ruddy. Didn't have to do a lot of thinking. Like I said, he can see things, man. He can see safeties coming from deep, and redirect us. I mean, he was amazing. He
Damn.
was amazing.
Now, I know you had the ankle injury that hurt your career. Um, what happened there, man? It's because I was devastated. I'll tell you. You seen the jersey I got upstairs?
Yeah, I was devastated as well. We were winning, playing the Raiders. Had just went up. We were winning the game. A few minutes left in the game, and I took a step back, and I thought Mark Dixon had kicked me. It felt like somebody kicked me in the back of the leg. So I turned around and I was looking. I was like, and he walked up. I said, "Why did you kick me, man?" He said, I never touched you. I said, so I had a burning sensation in the back of my leg. I went back in the huddle. We ran another play. So I, kind of stood in, blocked best I could. Then we kicked the field goal. And when I walked off the field, the doctors were coming out to meet me, and they were saying, are you? I was like, yeah, I think he kicked me, man. So they took me over to the table and rolled me over, and they were squeezing the back of my leg. And when he rolled me back over, that's when he told me, he said, I think you tore your Achilles. And I'm like, nah, man, no way. I just played like 3 more plays, man. No way that I did my Achilles. I just stood in on the field goal. I'm walking off the field, and it's like, nah, well, so they took me in to get X-rays, and sure enough, I was torn. So that was kind of devastating, because all I thought about at the time, really, honestly, what I thought, was about Dan Marino and him tearing his Achilles, and then that big shoe he had to wear. And I knew, he was a quarterback, so his mobility could be limited. But I would, all I could think about was, me not having that strength, trying to stop 300-pound guys from getting to the quarterback. So in my mind at that particular time, I felt like, my career could be, in the balance.
Now, I know you tried to make a comeback from that. Walk us through how things went down with that, because I know it wasn't great, and you
Well,
you
when
know
I
the
when
whole
I
story.
tried to come back, I didn't. I had the surgery in December, and I was back practicing in June. And I was actually doing tour days, which now I realize I probably should have did one. Came back. I should have took my time coming back. I tried to rush to get back to get on the field, and I didn't have my full strength and my full capability. So that whole season, I was lumbering through trying to get my strength back, and mainly in my calf muscle. I mean, when you tear your Achilles, the atrophy on your calf muscle is just it's like a baby. You have no muscle, so you're starting all over again. And for me, being 340 pounds at the time, that was me pushing my weight and trying to stop somebody from pushing me back. It took me a while to get that back. So, and even now I still have problems with it. So like I said, it was rough, but I mean that's the nature of the game. You know what I'm saying? Anytime you play, and you play as physical as I played, something's bound to happen.
Yeah, I was gonna say anytime you're playing physical enough, you truck about 4 or 5, 6 people on an individual play. You're probably gonna need a little bit of that.
Yeah,
Uh,
something's bound to happen. So I should have took my time coming back, but you know, it's in hindsight is 2020.
oh yeah. So we got a question from one of our listeners right now. He wants to know, what player did you feel most had your number in your career?
Uh, I would say the player that probably my toughest opponent probably would be either Richard Seymour or Mike Vrabel. Those guys were pretty good. They always presented a problem because they were well coached. They were technically sound. Richard Seymour was really good with his hands. So so I would say probably him, either Mike Vrabel.
All right, so that's actually going to lead me a little bit forward here now to the current Dolphins, and speaking of toughest opponents and things like that, you know, looking ahead to the Rams this weekend. if you were Eric Flowers or if you were the other 66 we're getting to, how would you stop Aaron Donald coming up the middle of that defense?
Oh man, that's a tough task. He's he presents a problem because he's so explosive. But the other thing is he's not that tall.
Yep.
So I would say that the thing that they really would need to work on would be the quickness getting in their pass sets and making sure they use their hands, because he's like I said, he's so powerful and explosive. You got to kind of try to stop him before he gets going. And like I said, try to make sure the center knows where he is so he can help out. So he can help out at all times. You have to keep a great pass rusher like that. They only have to beat you one time. For them to look good. That's I tell the young defensive linemen now. A great pass rusher sets you up all game. They'll keep going doing the same thing, and then all of a sudden, bam, they hit you with something else, and they get a sack. And if they get a sack in every game, that's 16 sacks. You see what I'm saying? So all they take is one play for them. So you have to know where your help is, and you have to be realistic about what you're trying to do. You can't be too aggressive. And like I said, I would say get quick pass sets and make sure they use their hands. I mean,
Now
he can be neutralized. It can be done.
he can, and you and I both know Miami has two starting rookies on the right side of that line. We've got Robert Hunt and a guy you and I have talked about a little bit, Mr. Solomon Kinley. If you were a rookie going up against a player like that, are you going to be shaking a little bit, or are you just going to be out to make a name?
Hey, I mean, for me, I would look at it as an opportunity to make a name for myself. I mean, you're playing against one of the best, so it's a great test to see. You have to be confident, and just know that. I mean, hey, even if you get beat, hey, line back up and go again. Even the best get beat every now and then. So you have to have your confidence with you. But I mean, rookie, I'm sure I mean they should know by now. They played in what 7 games so far. So
Yep.
all the rookie stuff should be kind of worn off now. You don't have the big crowds as you would if if the COVID wasn't out. So you don't have to worry about loud a lot of people there or the intensity of the crowd. So just look at it. Like I said, be confident. Go out there and make a name for yourself. Like my coach told me in Buffalo, if you want to make money, you want to make a lot of money, you got to block the best. So this is an opportunity as a rookie, to make a name for yourself.
Agreed. Now, there's something you said actually earlier today out on Twitter that really resonated with me, and that's when will these teams learn that championships start with the O line? If you don't believe it, show me a Super Bowl team whose line was garbage. And I fully agree with you. That's the Parcells way. But can you elaborate on that a little bit for our listeners?
Well, I think you know, offensive linemen don't get a lot of credit. You've seen teams where, like, just take the Seahawks for instance. They had a really good offensive line when they had Marshawn Lynch. Those guys, they were opening up holes. They were really aggressive, and once they kind of took those guys away and started trying to add skill positions and putting money on the defense and other places, the team started to suffer. And I mean, anytime you pay these quarterbacks all this money, so you have to protect them. I mean, you no matter who you have catching the ball or running the ball, if they can't get the ball to the quarterback to give it to him, or he doesn't have time to distribute the ball, then you're not going to be successful. Look at Kansas City. Kansas City has one of the best offensive lines in the league. I mean, they may not be real aggressive as far as run blocking, but they do a good enough job. They spread you out, but you rarely see people touching Patrick Mahomes. He has about 10 seconds, to stand back there and kind of pat the ball. So, I think once people realize that, it's not a glorious position. It's, you don't get a lot of credit. You depend on the other guys working as a cohesive unit. All of those things that go into it. Like I said, it's not a glorious position, but it's the foundation of your team. If you have a look at the Colts, for instance. The Colts quarterback played last year. Jacoby Brissett, he was decent, but he's not your upper echelon. But still, they were still able to win a lot of games because that offensive line is good. Tennessee Titans, same thing. Ryan Tannehill, he's flourishing behind that line and that big running back. So I mean, once teams, people stop with all the gadgets and glitz and all of that and build your team with a good, solid offensive line, then you can have success for years to come.
I'll agree with you completely, and I will say there's really no more fun position to play out there, as much as the other positions get the glory. And I know you'll vouch for me on this one, than being a guard that gets to pull on a regular basis. There's
Yeah,
nothing better.
no, there's not, because I get to build up some speed, get a little momentum, and then hit somebody instead of just taking a step and the guy's right there, for me to block him. So I enjoy it, and you get to hit a smaller guy who's probably not really paying attention. So it's always good to, after you talk a little trash, catch him not looking, and knock him, run through him, and then talk some more trash. So I mean,
That one tends to shut people up eventually, though.
yeah, exactly.
There's no "I'll get you next time" to that one.
Yeah, no.
So Solomon Kinley, right?
Yeah.
Give us your thoughts on Kingsley, because I know Miami drafted Robert Hunt in the second round. They drafted Austin Jackson in the first round. And then, later on they went and they moved up to get Kingsley. And a lot of folks went, wait, a third offensive lineman? And like we just talked about, that foundation from the O-line, the fact that Miami's been struggling at the spot for years. And Solomon's come out and been probably the best out of the three of them. What are your thoughts on him being the third possibly great 66 in Dolphins history?
Well, I think I like watching him play. I like his aggressiveness. I like the way he's always down the field. When something's happening, even if it's a pass, he breaks down the field. I'm big on that. Offensive lineman, getting down the field, helping you. I love how he always, they're always helping the running back up. But I just think that, like I said, watching him, he kind of reminds me a lot of me. At that, at an early age, he's really aggressive, but he's smart, and I think he has a great career, a great future ahead of him. That's why I'm really anxious to see what they are going to do against Aaron Donald. But I think also the move of getting him, I think that kind of helps solidify what they're trying to do as far as protecting Tua. Because if you draft a quarterback that high and one that is that good, you want to make sure that he's protected. Like I was saying, they realize that you have to protect that asset, and they're drafting guys that are good players to protect that asset.
And not for nothing, I know Kinley plays right guard, but he's basically the Jamie+Nails, because he is helping protect Tua's blind side here. So
Exactly.
He's the left guard for Tua. Is what we'll call.
Exactly.
So, Jamie, talking about all that, I'm sure you watched some of the Rams game last night. If you're the Dolphins go in playing the Rams this weekend, what's your prediction for that game?
I think it'll be a low-scoring game. I don't think anybody's gonna really break out, because I think our defense matches up pretty good with their offense and what they try to do. But I think I think if we can get the running game going, it's been a struggle, but if we can get any semblance of a running game going and maybe get some play action going, we can hit them down the field a couple of times. But I think it'll be a defensive battle. I think I want to say the Dolphins win by 3, but I don't know, like, the point. I'm not good with the 32 to 29 or anything. You know what I'm saying? I just think the Dolphins will win by a field goal. I think having 2 weeks to prepare, putting Tua in, they've never seen him. They don't know what to expect from him. So I think that'll take them by surprise, and I think they'll win by 3.
I was saying the Rams got that short week too.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right. Well, hey, Jamie, thank you very much for coming on. You are always welcome. Anytime you want to come back on, reach out, let me know. I know our listeners in the chat are already dubbing Solomon Kinley Jamie+Nails 2.0. So it's if that says anything, with Larry Little in Dolphins history at number 66, they're dubbing Kinley Jamie+Nails 2.0. That should tell you that while short with the Dolphins and your career being cut short, the appreciation that these fans have for what you did. So on their behalf, on my behalf, thank you very much. And Dolphins fans, make sure click that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow Jamie out on Twitter at jnails66. Jamie, anything else you want to add before we get off here?
No, man. Thanks for having me. Like I said, I appreciate the Dolphins fans. I appreciate the love, man. I really do.
Anytime, brother. Anytime. Thanks again, man.
All right. Appreciate it.
Take care.
You too. Bye bye.